Up next, we have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This film picks up approximately a decade after the events of 2011's Rise of the Planet of the Apes, in which much of the human population has been wiped out by what the humans have dubbed the simian flu. And bands of human survivors are trying to make it in what remains of the world. A small group goes out to a nearby hydroelectric dam to try to restore power in the part of San Francisco that they are living. But Caesar and his colony of apes have made their home in this area. The humans, played in part by Jason Clarke, Kerry Russell, and some others, are granted permission to work on the dam by Caesar. His right-hand ape, Koba, still holds a grudge against humans and leads a group of apes to the armory that the humans have. Using this knowledge that the humans have weapons, they start a war between human and ape. The performances by Andy Serkis as Caesar, Jason Clarke as Malcolm, Gary Oldman as Dreyfus are really great, and this film also captures the eye visually. However, for me, the story lagged in parts. Just seemed like there was some trouble moving it along. And
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't down for monkeys taking over the world and everything. Apes, orangutans, chimps, whatever you want to call them. I wasn't down for it just because it's such a stupid plot to me, and it's so funny that a lot of people have such fondness for the original films. When to me it was, I don't know if I maybe I missed something in my life where I couldn't connect to the terror of apes, but this film is actually a very good film, despite the ludicrous story of apes talking and taking over. It doesn't in a believable way. It doesn't have everybody just out the gate talking. Mm-hmm. Caesar is still learning how to talk. And his Koba is another one that can say a few words, but everybody else uses sign language. Every other ape uses sign language, mm-hmm. And so that I was very happy to see that. I was very happy that they understood, if we just have everybody out here talking, this is going to be corny.
Well, and that's like the whole thing with the originals, is that the apes have evolved into being more human-like.
Right.
And, some of the humans at the colony in San Francisco don't even believe Malcolm when he says he spoke. They're like, no, not possible. And then
he comes
Caesar
to the front door and speaks.
The colony of apes comes and basically leave us alone.
They're all riding horses.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting. But visually, I think it's amazing. You've got kind of the post-apocalyptic thing going on with San Francisco in shambles, and these human survivors who I guess are supposed to have some sort of immunity to this virus that, like I said, they called the simian flu. So they've all banded together, and they have been working on trying to get electricity back to their area of town, but in order to do that, they need to go to this dam and work on it. And it's when they're searching for it that they come across these apes.
Yeah, the apes are like, forget you guys. You can turn on back and head home. But Caesar's got kind of like this soft spot for humans
because he was raised by a human.
Right.
Did you ever see the first one?
No, I didn't.
Of the Apes? Okay.
No, but I think it did a fine job of kind of explaining all that. It didn't spend too long on it, and again, I've said this before. I like when sequels don't spend too long explaining the first movie.
And I personally loved the opening. I'm one of those people that, I kind of base things on the opening of a film. I don't think I've mentioned that during our reviews yet.
That's new to me.
I kind of had mentioned it during our review of 22 Jump Street, that I liked that in the beginning they did a little bit of a previously on 21 Jump Street and kind of brought you up to speed. I liked that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes did something similar. As they were doing the opening credits, you see some footage and scenes of basically what's been going on for those last 10 years.
A news report.
Yeah, so it was kind of nice because it used what's typically dead time in a film to kind of get you brought up to speed. That way it didn't take any unnecessary time from the story itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought the story moved right along. It did a good job of keeping good pace. This is a 2-hour film, I believe. So, I like when films are an hour and a half long. Unless it, like I said before, it's a documentary or something. Then I want it to be as long as possible because I love documentaries. But with this, it's a 2-hour film that doesn't really feel much like a 2-hour film because you are interested. You're invested And what's going to happen next in this relationship between ape and human? Are they going to be able to coexist? And we find out by the end that no, they aren't. They just aren't going to coexist. It's not going to happen anytime soon, at least. Yeah. And so...
and I think that also kind of helps set up. Like, I don't know what their plan is with this franchise. You know, they definitely left it open-ended so that they can do many more films if they so choose. I mean, the originals, there are a bunch of those.
Yeah.
But, you know, Planet of the Apes that they remade back in, 2001 with Mark Wahlberg, which is basically the remake of the original where he is in space, lands, and finds out that it's all run by apes. So I'm just kind of curious to see how they get to that to kind of bring it around full circle.
Right, that's obviously their goal. It's just a question of whether they're going to do it in the next film or the film after that. I think.
Are they going to do one more to bridge the gap?
I think they will, because this made a lot of money, and so they're probably going to milk. And this was a good film, so everybody, you know, all these millions of people that actually saw it, they see a good film, so they're going to come back again for another one. And so definitely they have a chance as long as they keep it as good as this one was. My problems with the film kind of lie upon the humans. The apes were great. The performances of the apes were mind-boggling. They should get Oscar nods for what they did. I'm serious.
Now,
those were good.
Now, are you talking
I'm talking mainly Caesar.
Or the
actors. Yeah.
Because some people actually, there's like an online debate going on that some people say only the people who did like the CGI and the special effects should get, you know, recognized, because all he did was put on a suit and move around, and that wasn't a big deal.
The actor should get recognized for,
right.
you know, supporting actor, lead actor, whatever. And then the CGI guys should get recognized for their field as well.
So you think it should be a team thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think CGI guys should be best actor. You know,
right. Well,
that's crazy. Then we'd be living in the Planet of the Apes there. And by the way, this title is so silly. The Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, of the universe, of the, you know, of the. It's a mouthful, especially going up and grabbing your ticket. Down at the Planet of the Apes, please.
Because you have a big thing with, you will not go up there and say, I'd like to see Planet of the Apes, please, because that's not what it's called.
It's not,
you hate
exactly.
abbreviations. You can't call the Pirate of the Caribbean movies pirates because you'll freak
stupid.
out. So, FYI, folks.
It's just stupid to call it pirates. Because it's just
But everybody knows what you're talking about.
It's such a broad blanket statement. No other film could be called Pirates. Anyway, the humans to me didn't do it.
I was impressed with Jason Clarke, who played Malcolm. You know, I think that he did decently. They could have done more with him.
Yeah.
And I have a thing for Gary Oldman. I don't think I've ever
seen
anything
good. No, he was good, but he was barely in the film.
Yeah, I feel like he was underutilized. And I think that that's part of where, like, certain parts of it lagged, is that they could have elaborated on something or used certain people more, and, you know, I don't know. It just, there were some parts that I was like, you know, glanced to see what time it is, how much longer is left, how are they going to wrap it up, and kind of taken out of it for a moment.
Okay, we brought this up before, and we should really make a list of the actors and actresses I don't like to see on the screen. So far we've had Sandra Oh.
But you liked her performance.
No, I did like her performance. So. But I generally, when I see her on the screen, I don't.
You cringe?
Yeah, a little bit. We've had a few other ones. I'm drawing a blank as to who right now. But Kerry Russell is one of those people. I do not like her.
And do you have a reason, or is it just like
It's her face. It's kind of her face.
Here, folks. It's her face.
Well, I mean, it is. It's Hollywood, you know. You kind of have to have the face. Now, I have something up here, and the actor's name was Jason Clarke. The whole movie, I stared at him, and I couldn't get past it because he looked like somebody that, you know, not I know personally, but somebody I know.
One of those, like, I know that I've seen this person in something. What is it?
He looks exactly like NFL wide receiver Wes Welker.
Oh, wow.
As I'm showing a picture to my wife right now.
Okay, that's kind of like weird.
Yeah, it was almost like, is that Wes Welker? No, it wasn't. But I mean, it looked identical, and that's
Which can be distracting.
It
when
was
you're spending
distracting.
your whole time trying to place that person, it's literally in the last 5 minutes, you're like, oh, it was that.
Yeah, it was
That
distracting.
the
I thought he
movie.
did a pretty good job, but I mean, it was just distracting. The rest of the actors were pretty,
Bleh.
yeah, just kind of below the level. Whatever, throw you away. Oldman does a good job. Clark does a good job. Kerry Russell might have done a good job, but honestly, she's not going to win points with me. But no, she didn't do anything special, really, I thought. It was really the apes. That's what you're going to go see this film for, is the apes, because the CGI on the apes and the motion acting by Andy Serkis, who obviously...
This dude is, like, good at what he does.
He's a spider monkey, which is a fantastic part for him, as Caesar. But do see it, because it's a very good film. I just had issues with the humans. I had issues that I saw a lot of cliches in this movie.
Such as?
Like a good example is at the end. I don't want to give too much away, but I'll try to describe this to you personally, where it's he's falling, grab, let him go. God, come on. We've seen that. How many Disney movies have we seen that in?
Right, but one thing that I think that kind of helps show is because during all of this, Caesar is very adamant, ape does not kill ape.
Right.
And then he allows a death to happen, and it's kind of like a turning point for Caesar, I think.
But it's also like the general thing of the film of, okay, they're starting to trust, something bad's going to happen. It's just, the writing was so formulaic to me at times that it did take me out a bit.
But like
it was still a good film.
With talking about Earth to Echo, there's like very little originality anymore. So of course they're going to recycle
that, and I'm
some
seeing
plot
that with the
lines
movies that we see. But at the same time, for you to get over that hump, you need better writing. That's what separates the great movies from the good ones, and this is a good one.
Totally thought you were going to say that's what separates humans from apes.
I said in my Jersey Boys review, I really liked that film. It had fantastic performances,
However,
but it had troubles with the plot and how it was edited together. Therefore, it's not a great movie; it's a good movie. And I felt the same way. I really liked the direction of the scenes, though, as far as the ones that have big scope to them. Director Matt Reeves just did a fantastic job, especially with the ending scenes, just making that look so majestic. Like it's.
I think that this is definitely a film that our theater only keeps things for 2 weeks. I'm not sure how other people's theaters are. Maybe in bigger cities things are kept longer, but if you haven't seen this already, definitely get in while it's in theaters, because this is one of those movies that really does have to be seen on the big screen to appreciate fully.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. I mean, he did a fantastic job with Cloverfield, even that being a found footage film. He just has a way with the grand scope of landscapes. So I really liked it. Again, it's not a great film, but it's a good film, and I am looking forward to seeing the next one, because I know that it'll probably be another good film. I give it a...
Now, with this, though, having liked this one, are you interested in now watching 2011's Rise
Yeah,
of the Planet
but
of the
kind
Apes?
of like a if I stumble upon it type
Okay.
thing. If it's on Netflix, okay. It's not something that I want to go out and rent when it comes to Redbox. Although I will say that I haven't discussed this with you yet, but we should definitely grab some of the films we missed so far this year, at least some of the more acclaimed films, and try to review those as well.
Sure.
Through Redbox. So I liked it. I give it a 4 out of 5. I mean, that's a pretty high review so far for what I've given out to what we've seen so far. That's an 8 out of 10. What did you think about it?
I agree with everything you've said about the visuals, the scope of it, the direction was great. I did enjoy it, but it really does come down to the performances of the apes. I think that the lagging parts were when it was focused on the human colony. So I think 4 out of 5 is is right there, and I think that this may be up there with the highest that I personally rated something, but I was just, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think this is your highest rating so far.
It kept my attention riveted on the screen, and it's almost like I was disappointed that it ended, but it did leave me ready for more, and I am looking forward to seeing what they do next.
Yeah, it was a good ending, a bit of a cliffhanger, I guess, kind of. Not a cliffhanger that says, okay, well, you didn't give me my entree.
Yeah, I mean, if they stop the franchise here, I'm okay with that, but it did leave it open enough to where, they could continue it, and again, makes me curious to see where they take it next.
Yeah, 4 across the board for us.